He who has seen everything I will make known to the land. I will teach about him who experienced all things alike, and who granted him the totality of knowledge of all. He saw the secret, discovered the hidden. He brought information of the time before the flood. He went on a distant journey, pushing himself to exhaustion, but then was brought to peace. He carved on a stone seal all of his toils, and built the wall of Uruk Haven, the wall of the sacred Iana temple, the holy sanctuary. Look at its wall, which gleams like copper. Inspect its inner wall, the likes of which no one can equal. Take hold of the threshold stone, it dates from ancient times. Go close to the Inanno temple, the residence of Ishtar, such as no later king or man had ever equaled. Go up to the wall of Uruk and walk around. Examine its foundation. Inspect its brickwork thoroughly. Is not even the core of the brick structure made of kiln-fired brick, and did not the seven sages themselves lay out its plans? 1 league city, 1 league palm gardens, 1 league lowlands, the open area of the Ishtar temple. 3 leagues and the open area of Uruk the wall encloses. Find the copper tablet box, open of its lock of bronze. Undo the fastening of its secret opening. Take out and read from the lapis lazuli tablet how Gilgamesh went through every hardship. Supreme over the kings, lordly in appearance. He is the hero, born of Uruk, the glowing wild bull. He walks in front of the leader and walks at the rear, trusted by his companions, mighty, net protector of the people. Wait, we just raised even the walls of stone, offsprings of Lugalbenda. Gilgamesh is strong to perfection, son of the august cow, Remi Nimson. Gilgamesh is awesome to perfection. It was he who opened the mountain passes, who dug walls on the flank of the mountain. It was he who crossed the ocean, the vast seas to the rising sun, who explored the world regions seeking life. It was he who reached by his own sheer strength Utanpishtism, the far away, who restored sanctuaries, or cities, that the flood had destroyed, for teeming mankind. Who can compare with him in kingliness? Who can say like Gilgamesh, I am king, whose name, from the day of his birth, was called Gilgamesh. 2/3 of him is God, 1/3 of him is human. The great goddess Aruru designed the model for his body. She prepared his form. Beautiful, handsomest of men, perfect. He walks around in the enclosure of Uruk like a wild bull. He makes himself mighty, head raised over others. He is no rival who can raise his weapon against him. His fellows stand at the alert, attentive of his orders, and the men of Uruk become anxious in. Gilgamesh does not have a son to his father. Day and night he arrogantly. The following lines are interpreted as rhetorical, perhaps spoken by the oppressed citizens of Uruk. Is Gilgamesh the shepherd of Uruk Haven? Is he the shepherd? Bold, eminent, knowing, and wise. Gilgamesh does not leave a girl to her mother, the daughter of the warrior, the bride of the young man. The gods kept hearing their complaints, so the gods of the heaven implored the Lord of Uruk, you have indeed brought into a mighty wild bull head raised. There is no rival who can raise a weapon against him. His fellows stand at the alert, attentive to his orders. Gilgamesh does not leave a son to his father. Day and night he arrogantly. Is he the shepherd of Uruk Haven? Is he their shepherd? Bold, eminent, and knowing and wise. Gilgamesh does not leave a girl to her mother. The daughter of the warrior, the bride of the young man, and you listened to their complaints. And the gods called out Aruru. It was you, Aruru, who created mankind. Now create a Zikru to it/him. Let him bring it to his Gilgamesh's story me heart. Let them be a match for each other so that Uruk may find peace. When Aruru heard that she created within herself the Zukrut of Anu.
Aruru washed her hands. She pinched off some clay and threw it onto the wilderness.
In the wilderness, she created valiant Enkidu, born in the silence, endowed the strength of Ninurta. His whole body was shaggy with hair. He had full head of hair like a woman. He had full head of hair, locks billowing profusion like Ashnan. He knew neither people nor settled living, but wore a garment like Shamu Khan. He ate grasses with the gazelles, and jostled at the watering hole with the animals. As with the animals, his thirst was slacked with mere water. A notorious trapper came face to face with him opposite to the watering hole. A first, a second, and a third day. He came face to face with him opposite the watering hole. On seeing him, the trapper's face went stark with fear, and he and Kidu and his animals threw back home. He was rigid with fear, though stock still his heart pounded and his face drained of color. He was miserable to the core, and his face looked like one who had made a long journey. The trapper addressed his father, saying, "Father, a certain fellow has come to the mountains. He is the mightiest in the land. His strength is as mighty as the meteorite of Anu. He continually goes over the mountains. He continually jostles at the watering place with the animals. He continually plants his feet opposite to the watering hole." I was afraid, so I did not go up to him. He filled in the pits that I had dug. Wretched out my traps that I had spread. Released from my grasp the wild animals. He does not let me make rounds in the wilderness. The trapper's son's father spoke to him, saying, "My son, there lives in Uruk a certain Gilgamesh. There is no one stronger than he. He is as strong as the meteorite of Anu. Go, set off to Uruk, tell Gilgamesh of this man of might. He will give you the harlot Shamhat. Take her with you. The woman will overcome the fellow as if she were strong. When the animals are drinking at the watering place, have her take off her robe and expose her sex. When he sees her, he will draw near to her, and his animals who grew up in the wilderness will be alien to him." Heeded his father's advice. The trapper went off to Uruk. He made the journey, stood inside of Uruk, and declared to Gilgamesh, "There is a certain fellow who has come from the mountains. He is the mightiest of the land. His strength is as mighty as the meteorite of Anu. He continually goes over the mountain. He continually jostles at the watering place with the animals. He continually plants his feet opposite of the watering place." I was afraid, so I did not go up to him. He filled in the pits that I had dug, wrenched out my traps that I had spread, released from my grasp the wild animals. He does not let me make rounds in the wilderness. Go, trapper, bring the harlot Shamhat with you. When the animals are drinking at the watering place, have her take off her robe and expose her sex. When he sees her near, he will draw to her, and his animals who grew up in the wilderness will be alien to him. The trapper went, bringing the harlot Shamhat with him. They set off on the journey, making direct way. On the third day, they arrived at the appointed place, and the trapper and the harlot sat down at their post. First day, a second, they sat opposite to the watering hole. The animals arrived and drank at the watering hole. First day, the second day, opposite the watering hole. The animals arrived and drank at the watering hole. The wild beast arrived and slaked their thirst with water. Then he and Kidu, offspring of the mountains, who eats grass with the gazelles, came to drink at the watering hole with the animals. With the wild beast, he slaked his thirst with water. Then Shamhat saw him, a primitive, a savage fellow from the depths of wilderness. That is he, Shamhat. Release your clenched arms. Expose your sex so he can take in your voluptuousness. Do not be restrained.
Take his energy. When he sees you, he will draw near to you. Spread out your robe so he can lie upon you and perform this primitive task of womankind. His animals who grew up in the wilderness will become alien to him, and his lust will grow over you.
Shamhat unclutched her bosom, exposed her sex, and he took her in voluptuousness. She was not restrained but took his energy. She spread out her robe and he lay upon her. She performed for the primitive task of womankind. His lust groaned over her. For 6 days and 7 nights Enkidu stayed aroused and had intercourse with the harlot until he was sated with her charms. But when he turned his attention to his animals, the gazelle saw Enkidu and darted off. The wild animals distanced themselves from his body. Enkidu, his elderly, depleted body, his knees that wanted to go off with his animals were rigid. Enkidu was diminished. His running was not as before. Then he drew himself up, for his understanding had been broadened. Turning around, he saw at his harlot's feet, gazing into her face, his ears attentive as the harlot spoke. The harlot said to Enkidu, "You are beautiful, Enkidu, you become like a god. Why do you gallop around the wilderness with a wild beast? Come, let me bring you into the Uruk haven, the holy temple, the residence of Anu and Ishtar, the place of Gilgamesh, who is wise to perfection, but who stretches power over the people like a wild bull." And she kept saying found favor with him. Becoming aware of himself, he sought a friend. Enkidu spoke to the harlot, "Come, Shamhat, take me away with you to the sacred holy temple, residence of Anu and Ishtar, place of Gilgamesh, who is wise to perfection, but who stretches power over his people like a wild bull. I will challenge him. Let me shout in Uruk, I am the mighty one. Lead me in, and I will change the order of things. He whose strength is mightiest is the one born in the wilderness. Come, let us go, so he may see your face. I will lead you to Gilgamesh. I know where he will be. Look up about Enkidu inside Uruk haven, where the people show off in skirted finery, where every day is the day for some festival, where the lyre and drum play continually, where harlots stand about prettily, exuding voluptuousness, full of laughter. And on the couch of the night the sheets are spread. Enkidu, you do not know how to live. I will show you Gilgamesh, a man of extreme feelings. Look at him, gaze at his face. He is a handsome youth of freshness. His entire body exudes voluptuousness. He has mightier strength than you, without sleeping day or night. Enkidu, it is you, your wrong thoughts you must change. It is Gilgamesh from Shamhat loves, and Anu and Lil and La have enlarged his mind. Even before you came from the mountain, Gilgamesh and Uruk had dreams about you. Gilgamesh got up and revealed the dream, saying to his mother, "Mother, I had a dream last night. Stars in the sky appeared, and some kind of meteorite of Anu fell next to me. I tried to lift it, but it turned out too mighty for me. I tried to turn it over, but I could not budge it. The land of Uruk was standing around it. The whole land had assembled around it. The populace was thronging about it. The men clustered about it and kissed at its feet as if it were a little baby. I loved it and embraced it as a wife. I laid it down at your feet, and you made it complete with me." The mother of Gilgamesh, the wise all-knowing, said to her lord, "Remat Ninsun, the wise all-knowing," he said to Gilgamesh, "as for the stars, the sky appeared, and the meteorite of Anu fell next to you. You tried to lift it, but it was too mighty for you. You tried to turn it over, but you were unable to budge it. You laid down at his feet, and I made it compete with you, and you loved and embraced it as a wife. There will come to you a mighty man, a comrade who saves his friend. He is the mightiest in the land, he is the strongest. His strength is mighty as the meteorite of Anu. You loved him and embraced him as a wife, and it is he who will repeatedly save you. Your dream is good and propitious." A second time Gilgamesh said to his mother, "Mother, I have had another dream. At the gate of my martial chamber there lay an axe, and people had collected about it. The land of Uruk was standing around it. The whole land had assembled around it. The populace was thronging around it. I laid it at your feet. I loved it and embraced it as a wife, and you made it compete with me." The mother of Gilgamesh, the wise all-knowing, said to her son, "Remat Ninsun, the wise all-knowing, said to Gilgamesh, the axe that you saw is a man, that you love him and embrace as a wife, but that I have compete with you. there will come you a mighty man, a comrade who saves his friend. He is the mightiest in the land. He is strongest. He is as mighty as the meteorite of Anu. Gilgamesh spoke to his mother, saying, "By the command of Enlil, the great counselor, so may it pass. May I have a friend and an advisor, a friend and advisor may I have. You have interpreted for me the dreams about him." And the harlot recounted the dreams of Gilgamesh to Enkidu. The two of them made love.
Disclaimer, the next 30 lines are missing. Some of the fragmentary lines from 35 on are restored from parallels in the Old Babylonian. Why? His own counsel. At his instruction, he knows his heart. Shamat pulled off her clothing and clothed him with one piece while she clothed herself with a second. She told him to do as the gods do and brought him to the hut of the shepherds. The shepherds gathered all around him. They marveled to themselves how the youth resembles Gilgamesh. Tall in stature, towering up to the battlements over the wall. Surely he was born in the mountains. His strength is as mighty as the meteorite of Anu. They placed food in front of him. They placed beer in front of him. Enkidu knew nothing about eating bread for food, and of drinking beer he had not yet been taught. The harlot spoke to Enkidu, saying,
Bruh.
"Eat the food, Enkidu. It is the way everyone lives. Drink the beer, as it is the custom of the land." Enkidu ate the food until he was sated. He drank the beer, 7 jugs. He was elated, and his face glowed. He splashed his shaggy body with water and rubbed himself with oil and turned into a human. He put on some clothing and became like a warrior. He turned up his weapon and chased lions so that the shepherds could eat. He routed the wolves and chased the lions. With Enkidu as their guard, the herders could lie down. A wakeful man, a singular youth. He was twice as tall as normal men. There's a disclaimer here.
Read it.
Disclaimer, the next 33 lines are missing in the standard version. Lines 57 to 86 are taken from the Old Babylonian.
Okay.
Then he raised his eyes and saw a man. He said to the harlot, "Shamat, have that man go away. Why has he come? I will call out his name." The harlot called out to the man and went over to him and spoke with him. "Young man, where are you hurrying? Why arduous pace?" The young man spoke, saying to Enkidu, "They have invited me to a wedding, as is the custom of the people, selection of brides. I have leaped up tasty delights from the wedding on the ceremonial platter, for the king of Broad Mard Uruk opened his veil to the people for choosing a girl. For Gilgamesh, the king of Broad Marded Uruk, is open as the veil of the people for choosing. He will have intercourse with the destined wife, he first, the husband afterwards. This is the order by the council of Anu. From him, the severing of his umbilical cord has been destined from him." At the young man's speech, his face flushed with anger. Enkidu walked in front and Shamat after him. He walked down the street of Uruk heaven, mighty. He blocked the way through Uruk the sheepfold. The land of Uruk stood around him. The whole land assembled around him. The populace was thronging around him. Men clustered around him and kissed his feet as if he were a little baby. Suddenly, a handsome young man from Ishara, the bed of night, marriage is ready. For Gilgamesh as a god, a counterpart is set up. Enkidu blocked the entry to the marital chamber and did not allow Gilgamesh to be brought in. They grappled with each other at the entry to the marital chamber. In the streets they attacked each other, the public square of land. The doorpost trembles, and the wall shook. Disclaimer, about 42 lines are missing from the standard version. Lines 103 to lines 129 are taken from the Old Babylonian verses.
Okay.
Gilgamesh bends his knees with his other foot to the ground, his anger abated as he turned his chest away. After he returned his jest, Enkidu said to Gilgamesh, "Your mother bore you ever unique. The wild cow of the enclosure, Ninsun, your head is elevated over other men, and Will has destined for you the kingship over people." Disclaimer, 19 lines are missing here. They kissed each other and became friends. Disclaimer, Old Babylonian becomes fragmented. The standard version resumes. His strength is the mightiest in the land. His strength is as mighty as the meteorite of Anu. The mother of Gilgamesh spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, Rima Ninsun said to her son, Rimar Ninsun, my son, plaintively. She went back into his gateway. Plaintively she implored. Enkidu has no father or mother. His shaggy hair no one cuts. He was born in the wilderness. No one raised him. Enkidu was standing near, heard the speech. He sat down and wept, his eyes filled with tears. His arms fell limp, his strength had weakened. They took each other by the hand and Enkidu made a declaration to Gilgamesh. Disclaimer, 32 lines are missing here.
Bruh. In order to protect the cedar forest, Enlil assigned Humbaba as a terror to human beings. Humbaba's roar is a flood, his mouth is fire, and his breath is death. We can hear 100 leagues away any rustling in his forest. Who would go down into his forest? Enlil assigned him as a terror to human beings, and whoever goes down to his forest, paralysis will strike. Gilgamesh spoke to Enkidu saying, What you say? About 42 lines are missing here in the standard version. Lines 228 to 249 are taken from the Old Babylonian. Who my friend can ascend to the heavens, only the gods can dwell forever with Shamash. As for the human beings, their days are numbered, but whatever they try to achieve is but wind. Now you are afraid of death. What has become of your bold strength? I will go in front of you, and your mouth will call out, Go on closer. Do not be afraid. Should I fall, I will have established my fame. They will say, It was Gilgamesh who walked in battle with Humbaba the Terrible. You were born and raised in the wilderness. The lion leapt up onto you, so you have experienced it all. 5 lines are fragmentary. I will undertake it, and I will cut down the cedar. It is I who will establish fame for eternity. Come, my friend. I will go over to the forge and have them cast the weapons in our presence. Holding each other by the hand, they went over to the forge. The standard version resumes at this point. The craftsman sat and we discussed with another. We should fashion the axe. The hatchet should be the 1 talent weight. The sword should be the 1 talent. Their armor, 1 talent, their armor. Gilgamesh said to the men of Uruk, Listen to me, men. 5 lines are missing here. You men of Uruk, who know, I want to make myself more mighty and will go on a distant journey. I will face fighting such as I have never known. I will set out on a road I have never traveled. Give me your blessing. I will enter the city gate of Uruk. I will devote myself to the New Year's festival. I'll perform the New Year's ceremonies in. The New Year's festival will take place. Celebrations. They will keep shouting, Hurrah, in. And Kudu spoke to the elders. What the men of Uruk say to him that he must nor go to the cedar forest. The journey is not to be made. The man who, the guardian of the cedar forest, the noble counselors of Uruk rose and delivered their advice to Gilgamesh. You are young, Gilgamesh. Your heart carries you off. You do not know what you are talking about. Gave birth to you. Humbaba's roar is a flood. His mouth is fire. His breath death. We can hear any rustling in this forest 100 leagues away. Who would go down into his forest? Who among even the Igigi gods can confront him in order to keep the cedar safe? Enlil assigned him as a terror to human beings. Gilgamesh listened to the statement of his noble counselors. About 5 lines are missing to the end of tablet 2. That was short but sweet.
Gilgamesh, saying, Gilgamesh, do not put your trust in just vast strength, but keep a sharp eye out, make each blow strike and mark. The one who goes ahead saves the comrade. The one who knows the route protects his friend. Let Enkidu go ahead of you. He knows the road to the cedar forest. He has seen fighting, has experienced battle. Enkidu will protect the friend, will keep the comrade safe. Let his body urge him back to the wives. In our assembly, we've entrusted the king to you, and on your return, you must entrust the king back to us. Gilgamesh spoke to Enkidu, saying, Come on, my friend, let's go to the Angalamon temple, to Ninsun, the great queen. Ninsun is wise, all-knowing. She will put the advisable path at our feet. Taking each other by the hand, Gilgamesh and Enkidu walked to Angalamon. To Ninsun, the great queen, Gilgamesh arose and went to her. Ninsun, even though I am extraordinarily strong, I must now travel a long way to where Humbaba is. I must face fights I have not known, and I must travel on a road that I have not known, until the time that I go and return, until I reach the cedar forest and kill Humbaba the Terrible, and eradicate from the land something baneful that Shamash hates. Intercede with Shamash on my behalf. If I kill Humbaba and cut his cedar, let there be rejoicing over the land. And I will erect a monument of victory before you. The words of Gilgamesh, her son, grieving, Queen Ninsun heard over and over. Ninsun went into her living quarters. She washed herself with the purity plant. She donned a robe worthy of her body. She donned jewels worthy of her chest. She donned her sash and put on her crown. She sprinkled water from a bowl onto the ground. She went up to the roof. She went up to the roof and set incense in front of Shamash. I offered fragrant cuttings and raised her arms to Shamash. Why have you imposed? They inflicted a restless heart on my son Gilgamesh. Now you have touched him so as he wants to travel a long way to where Baba is. He will face fighting such as he has not known, and will travel on a road he does not know, until he goes away and returns, until the cedar forest, until he kills Humbaba the Terrible and eradicates from the land something baneful that you hate. On the day that you see him on the road, may Aja, the bride, without fear remind you, and command also the watchman of the night, the stars, and at night, your father Sin. She banked up the incense and uttered the ritual word, called to Enkidu, and would give him instructions. Enkidu the mighty, you are not of my womb, but now I speak to you along with the sacred votaries of Gilgamesh, the high priestess, the holy woman, the temple servers. She laid a pendant on Enkidu's neck, the high priestess took. And the daughters of the gods I have taken, Enkidu to Gilgamesh I have taken, until he goes and returns, until he reaches the cedar forest, be it a month, be it a year. Disclaimer. About 11 lines are missing here, and the placement of the following fragment is uncertain. The gate of cedar, Enkidu in the temple of Shamash, and Gilgamesh in the Angalamon. He made an offering of cuttings, the sons of the king. Disclaimer, perhaps some 60 lines are missing here. Enkidu will protect the friend, will keep the comrade safe, let his body urge him back to the wives. In our assembly, we have entrusted the king to you, and on our return you must entrust the king back to us. Enkidu spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, My friend, turn back. The road. Disclaimer, the last lines are missing.
At 20 leagues, they broke for some food. At 30 leagues, they stopped for the night. Walking 50 leagues in a whole day, a walk of a month and a half. On the third day, they drew near to the Lebanon. They dug a wall facing Shemesh, the setting sun. Gilgamesh climbed up a mountain peak, made a libation of flour, and said, Mountain, bring me a dream, a favorable message from Shamash. Enkidu prepared a sleeping place for him the night. A violent wind passed through, so he attached a covering. He made them lie down, and, in a circle, they, like grain from the mountain, while Gilgamesh rested his chin on his knees. Sleep that pours over mankind overtook him. In the middle of the night, his sleep came to an end, so he got up and said to his friend, "My friend, did you not call out to me? Why did I wake up? Did you not touch me? Why am I so disturbed? Did a god pass by? Why are my muscles trembling? And Kidu, my friend, I have had a dream, and the dream I had was deeply disturbing. In the mountain gorges, mountain fell down on me. Us? Wet, like flies. He who was born in the wilderness." And Kidu interpreted the dream for his friend. "My friend, your dream is favorable. The dream is extremely important, my friend. The mountain which you saw in the dream is Humbaba. It means we will capture Humbaba and kill him and throw his corpse into the wasteland. In the morning there will be a favorable message from Shamash. At 20 leagues they broke for some food. At 30 leagues they stopped for the night, walking 50 leagues in a whole day, a walk of a month and a half. They dug a well facing Shamash. Gilgamesh climbed up on a mountain peak, made a libation of flour, and said, 'Mountain, bring me a dream, a favorable message from Shamash.' And Kidu prepared a sleeping place for him for the night. A violent wind passed down, so he attached a covering. He made them lie down, and in a circle, they, like grain from the mountain, while Gilgamesh rested his chin on his knees, sleep that pours over mankind overtook him. In the middle of the night, his sleep came to an end, so he got up and said to his friend, 'My friend, did you not call out to me? Why did I wake up? Did you not touch me? Why am I so disturbed? Did a god pass by? Why are my muscles trembling?'" They already fucking said this. "And Kidu, my friend, I have had a dream, besides my first dream, a second. And the dream I had, so striking, so disturbing. I was grappling with a wild bull of the wilderness. With his bellow he spit on the ground a cloud of dust to the sky. I sink my knees in front of him. He holds that encircled my arm. My tongue hung out, my temples throbbed. He gave me water to drink from his water skin. My friend, the god to whom we go is not the wild bull. He is totally different. The wild bull that you saw is Shamash, the protector. In difficulties he holds our hand. The one who gave you water to drink from his water skin is your personal god, who brings honor to you, Rugal Banda. We should join together and do one thing, a deed that has never been done in this land. At 20 leagues, they broke for some food. At 30 leagues, they stopped for the night. Walking 50 leagues in a whole day, a walk of a month and a half. They dug a well facing Shamash. Gilgamesh climbed up on a mountain peak, made a libation of flour, and said, "Mountain, bring me a dream, a favorable message from Shamash." And Kidu prepared a sleeping place for him for the night. A violent wind passed through, so he attached a cover. They made him lie down, and in a circle they like rain from a mountain, while Gilgamesh rested his chin on his knees. Sleep that pours over mankind overtook him. In the middle of the night, his sleep came to an end, so he got up and said to his friend, "My friend, did you not call out to me? Why did I wake up? Did you not touch me? Why am I so disturbed? Did a god pass by? Why are my muscles trembling? And Kidu, my friend, I have had a third dream, and the dream I have had was deeply disturbing." The heavens roared and the earth rumbled. Then it became deathly still and darkness loomed. A bolt of lightning cracked and a fire broke out, and where it kept thickening, there reigned death. Then the white-hot flame dimmed, and the fire went out, and everything that had been falling around turned to ash. "Let us go down to the plain so we can talk it over." And Kidu heard the dream that he had presented, and he said to Gilgamesh, "About 40 lines are missing here."
At 20 leagues, they broke for some food.
At 30 leagues, they stopped for the
I think I already did that.
Fuck, where was I?
and walked for a month and a half.
They dug a well facing Shamash. Gilgamesh climbed up a mountain peak, made a libation of flour, and said, Mountain, bring me a dream, a favorable message from Shamash. Enkidu prepared a sleeping place for him for the night. A violent wind passed through, so he attached a covering. They made him lie down, and, in a circle, they, like rain from the mountain, while Gilgamesh rested, his chin on his knees. Sleep that pours over mankind overtook him. In the middle of the night, his sleep came to an end, so he got up, and he said to his friend, My friend, why did you not call out to me? Why did I wake up? Did you nor touch me? Why am I so disturbed? Did a god pass by? Why are my muscles trembling? Enkidu, my friend, I had a fourth dream, and the dream I had was deeply disturbing. Disclaimer, 11 lines are missing. He was, some cubits tall, ... Gilgamesh. Enkidu listened to his dream. The dream you had is favorable. It is extremely important, my friend. This, Mbabaeke. Before it becomes light, we will achieve victory over him, Mbaba, against whom we rage, we will, and triumph over him. In the morning there will be favorable message from Shamash. At night, 20 leagues they broke for some food. 30 leagues they stopped for the night, walking 50 leagues in a whole day, a walk of a month and a half. They dug a well, facing Shamash. Gilgamesh climbed up mountain peak, made a libation of flour and said, Mountain, bring me a dream, a favorable message from Shamash. Enkidu prepared a sleeping place for him at the night. A violent wind passed through, so he attached a covering. He made him lie down in a circle, like rain from the mountain, while Gilgamesh rested, his chin on his knees. Sleep that pours over mankind overtook him. In the middle of the night, his sleep came to an end, so he got up and said to his friend, My friend, did you not call out to me? Why did I wake up? Did you touch me? Why am I so disturbed? Did a god pass by? Why are my muscles trembling? Enkidu, my friend, I had a fifth dream, and the dream I had was deeply disturbing. His tears were running in the presence of Shamash. What you said in Uruk, be mindful of it, and stand by me. Gilgamesh, the offspring of Uruk-haven, Shamash heard what issued from his mouth, and suddenly there was a resounding warning sound from the sky. Hurry, stand by him so that he does not enter the forest, and does not go down into the thickets and hide. He has not put on his 7 coats of armor, he is wearing only one, but has taken off 6. They, Gilgamesh and Enkidu, they lunge at each other, with raging line of bulls. 1. Name, he bellowed full of, the guardian of the forest bellowed, bob of light. 1 cannot. Strangers. A slippery path is not feared by 2 people who help each other twice 3 times. A 3-ply rope cannot be cut. The mighty lioness cubs can roll him over. Enkidu spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, As soon as we have gone down into the cedar forest, let us split open the tree and strip it off its branches. Gilgamesh spoke to Enkidu, saying, Why, my friend, we so wretchedly? We have crossed over all the mountains together. In front of us, before, we have cut down the cedar. My friend, you are so experienced in battle and in fighting that you need not fear death. Let your voice bellow forth like the kettle drum. Let the stiffness in your arms depart. Let the paralysis in your legs goes away. Take my hand, my friend. We will go on together. Your heart should not burn to do battle. Pay no heed to death. Do not lose heart. The one who watches from the side is a careful man, but the one who watches in front protects himself and saves his comrade. And through their fighting, they established fame. As 2 of them reached the evergreen forest, they cut off their talk and stood still. himself in the stomach.
For when we thought this would be a good idea.
It's not funny anymore. I don't think it's funny.